was you saw people crying. So that's kind of cool, I think. You know, we all have emotions that we keep inside of us, but some of those stories hit home really well. So we like the Magic Man. Who else likes somebody? Give me a neighbor. Who'd you like? Seth?
I think they were all great, you know. And I liked the pole dancing part as well, and the art stuff in between, you know.
Oh, the guy with the green, and yeah, the...
But what really is, it's my fourth summit or fifth summit, I don't know anymore, is this togetherness, this culture. People come dressed up, people have the same mindset, and this summit is really bringing that together, the networking, just, you know, being part of Realty Work, just the black and gold, you know, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, it's always unorganized. It's always a little messy, you know. I mean, oh, my badge, I don't have the badge, you know. But ultimately, it all turns out relatively well, you know. All right, so
life is messy.
it is.
They all had very nice short messages. For instance, Peyton said, be a good listener. Jade Simon, she said, be the disruptor. Jesse said, don't let anything define you. Define you. And I thought these were powerful words.
They are.
We got.
Yeah. I mean, for my whole adult life, I've heard this thing called mindset. I don't know what it means. Do you know what it means? I'm really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no stinking thinking.
Yeah, whatever it is. You know, from Tony Robbins to now. But I think that's what that guy Jesse talked about, right? Well, Jesse was the rapper-looking guy, the white guy. Yeah, I missed half of him. I was somewhere, but I caught the end of his, which was really, really good. So I'm disappointed I missed all of it. But yeah, it's that. Yeah, that in Rev Up, and some of you have been in my Rev Up classes. Rev Up is an affirmation we do for every Rev Up class. All 10 of them. There's a different one, and I always ask the agents, do any of you do affirmations in your life? And some do. You'd be surprised. And some don't. But you might want to do that as agents, because we all should have something to say in the morning to get our motor running, whatever that is. You know, being grateful that you're alive. You know, I mean, stupid stuff like that. But affirmations kind of work. Okay, so you liked everybody, like Steffi.
And then, I read a bit about Cuba because, you want to know who's the guy behind it, what does he think. He said family, and then one word, respect. And I thought it was powerful too.
The only bad thing, again, it's not bad. Sorry, Cuba, I don't mean to use the word bad in your name in a sentence. But in other summits, he would talk a lot longer. Like he'd be on the stage 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, talking about a bunch of stuff. And I think the last two he's been a little bit less, which I guess time constraints and stuff like that. So, okay, so we got that. Give me one more. Who else likes somebody else? Whose favorite was?
The sports lady. What was her name?
Erin Andrews.
Yeah, that was good.
She was great. And Corey, who interviewed her, she did a great job too.
Yeah, Corey Vasquez, she's been with the company. It's funny, real quick story. I used to work at Remax for 11 years. And I went to all their, they call them R4s, like the summit. Vinny, Corey, all the executives at Realty One came from Remax. I'm not saying that's a shout out to Remax. It's not. They let them go, or they quit Remax. But from Vinny Tracy down, all the franchise guys, Kathy Baker, if you know who Kathy Baker is, if you've seen her around, they're all Remax people. And they figured out this franchising thing and how to do these summit. And I don't know how Corey does it. Some of us, me, Suzanne, a few other people got there Saturday morning. Those beautiful badges that you had? Yeah, we put them together for 8 hours. What a nightmare. Goddamn nightmare, putting them in the right order and alpha, there was like, I don't know, 500 M's. So I said, you just put all 500 M's together, M whatever. No, Tim. MA, then MB, then MC, MCA, MCB. Oh my God, it was a nightmare. But we pulled it off the best that we can. So, all right, gang, what do I have here? We have a quick little, I think, what do we, where's it snowing?
Outside.
Is it really? Really? Area. All right. We don't have any music to this, but there's a bunch of photos. So maybe you'll find yourself in here. Maybe you won't. But there's a bunch of photos that of all of us. There's the one was on the Sear. That's the ladies luncheon. Oh, look at that! Isn't that pretty? Everybody.
Photobombed a few people in that arch.
Did you? Yeah, a few people. Yeah. The unbrokerage sign was very cool. I like that.
Oh, look, I was just around the corner.
So do we know whose shoes these are? No? Rob Turkhorn. Carol Turkhorn's husband. Team Turkhorn. There he is, far left, bottom, that's Bob. He had on those fancy shoes. Okay, there's Justin, Ricky,
Oh, shit.
Neil Smith,
Where? Oh, look.
bottom left. There you go. So we'll post all these up on the Facebook page. We'll throw a little music to it later. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, I'll show you this guy in a minute. Oh, you're going to be pissed at this guy when I show you this. Really? Oh, boy. All right, guys. So what else we got here? We need a little click. Who? Stapler. Let's do some good news first. Do we have the thing to carry in yet? The thing we're carrying in? Okay. Well, she's going to give you some good news. I'm just going to bust you. I got to vent every now and then. Everyone knows. Everyone see this stapler? How cool is this stapler? Right? How cool is this stapler? Everyone see this stapler? What a piece of junk. Now, one of them says, do not remove. I think that's a little, what's the word? Oxymoron or something?
Where was it? Because
Well, as a matter of fact, and we're going to find out who did this. I swear to God, if I have to go to my grave, I'm going to find out which one of you, hopefully not in this room, someone took this one, took that off it, took this home with them, and put this on the shitty one. So if we find this person, do I have your permission to fire them?
Get fired.
Really? Should they be fired or should they be embarrassed? Should we, fire over a stapler?
No ethics.
Unbelievable. So this is the kind of little stuff that it gets back to Cuba. He will slam the copy down in a heartbeat. Tim, it's noon. Fuck it. I'm charging for copies starting today at noon. That's how he is. No explanation. No one's going to question him. But he's not that guy, as you know. If you met him, you saw him. If you walked in right now, you don't even know who he is. He has jeans on and a whatever. He's a normal guy. But this is the little stuff that drives us crazy. So, but on a much happier note, the summit was Tuesday, February 6th, right? And as you know, all of the staff got to go. The managers and everything else, OAs, except one of our OAs could not go because she was only 20 years old. You know when her birthday was? The next day. The next day she was 21. So in light of that, we have a little cake for Brianna. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Brianna. Happy birthday to you. Stay there. Wendy, little photo op. Yeah, there you go. Photo op. There you go. That's it. Move your head, Webb. No, kidding. You're good. There you go. Thank you. So good job, Brianna. I know you're a little embarrassed right now, but that's okay. Get used to it. That happens here all the time. A couple of things you got to know. So that's today's flyer. There goes Peyton, Terry Crews. Did everyone like Terry Crews? What did you think of Terry Crews? Not that he was bad. Yeah? Better than Peyton Manning?
No.
Better than Aaron Andrews? Better than the Jesse guy?
No.
Yeah, right. I feel the same way. I mean, and I was looking forward to Terry.
Energy down. I mean, he was great, but
What do you think about the guy that interviewed him?
He didn't interact enough, and Terry Crews took over and rambled too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, too much. And then as opposed to getting stopped and, like, getting back on.
Because if you went to the event, you're going to get an email from Cuba with a survey. And be honest. Tell them what you didn't like. We do it all the time.
I think
And-
Corey set the bar too high.
yeah, she's really good at it. She's really good at it. What would you think if Peyton Manning, Terry Crews, and Terry Crews, Aaron Jones, Peyton Manning were not interviewed? They just did a speech for 30, 40 minutes. No. Right? See, I like that. Not that the interview, but
Jade Simons was amazing.
oh, how cool was that? With the piano? With the piano?
She was like in trance, whether she played or she talked.
Yeah.
The delivery, it was
Right?
Yeah, she was amazing.
Any room she walks into, she's the one.
super smart.
She commands the room. Unbelievable, right? She's really, really good. Somebody over here? No?
I love Jade.
if you do it as a conversation and not just question.
Right.
So that's why when Aaron Andrews was up there, it was back and forth and it flowed, so that's
Correct.
fine. But when they stand up there and just talk, I don't.
Yeah. Oh, so you don't like the speech by
No,
Peyton Manning,
I
if he
think
did
it-
one? Oh, okay.
It's better if they go back and forth.
It
That way.
depends who the host is giving the interview.
So would Terry Crews have done better if he was by himself?
If the,
I don't know, I missed it.
Oh, you missed it.
if the guy
Okay.
interviewing him was more interactive, I think, because he was too quiet.
Too quiet?
I think
Okay.
that, I prefer when they talk on their own, unless the interviewer is really good. questions. But otherwise, it's better if they have a topic that they can talk about, and then they elaborate on that, than having an interviewer that is kind of like, and, you know, not asking questions or just asking irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. But when you get that survey, be honest. I think it's anonymous too, so you can really be honest if you don't want to get in trouble. All right, so next year it's in Miami. Suzanne found out yesterday it's in Miami next year. I don't know the dates. I think Suzanne has the dates. Oh, no dates. The whole month of February in Miami is our summit here. You know.
It was
But-
April. It said April.
Did it?
I bought my ticket.
Oh, you bought a ticket already? Look at you, Patrick.
They
Yeah.
put the code up there, and it was $5.55 if you bought it.
So let's jump on it now, right?
So just get it, but it just said April 1st to April 30th.
Oh, they didn't pick a date. So they're probably trying to reserve. Okay. Okay. And
It's probably open, they're trying to
figure out the date. Yeah. And again, we'd like everybody to go. We know it's going to be expensive. I mean, the ticket, the hotel. You know, you might be 8 to a bedroom, 8 to a hotel room, which could be fun. You know, something like that.
Airbnb's in Miami.
They're not going to know. You know. But I would recommend if you're going to go, get the early bird ticket. Don't wait until the end.
But didn't that just expire, or did
Yeah.
it?
Only
It was
the
24
early
hours.
bird
No.
hasn't started yet. If you wanted to buy it from the code that was at the summit, it was $5.55 yesterday it was only for 24 hours.
Right.
So at 7 o'clock, I did it at 6:30, and there was a little time clock ticking down.
Right.
I had 12 minutes to get all my info in.
Oh, wow.
Then you had to answer some questions, and I'm looking at this clock ticking down. So I'm like, I just want to put the credit card in.
Yeah.
For this shit later. But
Wow.
you had to do everything to get
Okay.
through to the end to submit it. But-
Because those of you that did pay the $5.55 got it back, and you got in the gala. Where other people were pissed that they didn't get in the gala, but they shouldn't get in. They didn't pay. So kudos to all of you guys that paid in advance. So Miami, here we come. No Thursday today with Maria, correct? Are we doing this today or no? Your little Tech Thursday? You want to do it?
Oh, yeah.
Tech Thursday? If anybody comes in, okay. So don't forget, we have this goes back to last week, but those are the kind of topics that you'll cover. Please go to the YouTube page. That's where all of this stuff is going. We can't leave it on the Facebook page because it gets lost in the scroll. So everything is on the YouTube channel. So please, Wendy's classes, Rev Up, all of this stuff is going to go on the YouTube channel. There's some numbers. The only two things that came out to me is that the days on market are going up, right? They haven't been that high in a while. But if you look at the prices compared to this time last year, the prices actually have gone up. So it's a couple of months behind, but it's close enough. But so values are still there, inventory is still low. I think it's going to be that way for a while. Okay. If you have a buyer, I would recommend show them a new home. Not that we don't want to sell our listings, of course we do, but maybe that's the best thing to do for your client is put them in a brand new home. Okay. Beautiful calendar that Wendy made up, big hit. We know when everything is. Okay. She even has some classes in other offices if you want to go there. So if you want to take a trek to Green Valley, because Jim is talking about whatever he is, take the trek. You won't waste your time. This is a quick little description on the classes, on what they are. Ms. Schaller, how are you today? You doing good? You look great as always. You want to say hello to everybody? Might as well, right? What the hell?
Okay, so, real quick about the calendar. I'm just gonna talk about this week. So Monday, next week. Nothing this week. But Monday, February 12th, there's a class at Green Valley at 1 o'clock. It's pre-qualifying your clients. If you guys need help with that or just want to know how that's done. John's going to do that at Green Valley. And then on Monday, same day at 3 o'clock, we have back to basics here. And the topic will be your offers accepted, now what? We'll kind of go through what steps happen after that. Tuesday, the 13th, is our agent mastermind at 11 a.m. right here in Summerlin. Wednesday is Valentine's Day. Not happy Valentine's Day, but it's also John Stahl's birthday from Green Valley. But we will be having Rev Up that day. It's the module number 9, but that will be at the Summerlin office on the 14th at 9 a.m. here. Next Thursday, Tech Thursday, and then Friday is module 10 at the Summerlin office, and then we switch over to the Southwest office after that. All right. I did not put it up there. Oops, well, that's not up there anyway, but there's a handout. It's from Tom Ferry, 19-point marketing plan sample. Things to do while you're doing your listings and how to market your properties. So take a peek at that. It's wanted to touch upon a couple of them, and I didn't highlight them, so give me a second. You're gonna talk about when you're
What happened
doing
to
your
the
listing
iPad?
presentation, where your home will be, what does that say? Have a page that shows, all the websites that you guys are gonna promote your listings on. I did go on a listing presentation yesterday with a new agent, and really, I think that's the key, is you're just going to do your listing presentation with showing them what you're doing with your properties, like, and what you're gonna do with their property. I'm gonna advertise it on these websites, I'm gonna take these kind of photos, I'm gonna take this kind of drone, or I'm going to put it on and this kind of postcards in this kind of magazine. You have to go through, show your value, guys, because that is really what is gonna set us apart. Because some people wanna take, they're like, I'm only giving you 2%, but then when you're done with your listing, they're like, no, I'll give you 3 or 4 or 5%, because you've shown your value, but you've gotta show that. If you don't show it, you're gonna get those lower commissions. So just keep that in mind. But pick one of these up, it's good. As well as Tom Ferry, we're trying to get a Tom Ferry coach. We're gonna schedule probably a Zoom where she zooms in on one of our meetings just to kind of touch base and see, some people are interested in coaching. We have Tom Ferry, Buffini, I know Judy has a coach that she uses as well. Some people like the coach and some people don't, but we're here to offer it to you, so we'll probably have a Tom Ferry coach at some point in the next month or so. Drop in here and kind of tell you what all that coaching is about. But if you have any questions, let us know, but that's all I have for today, because we had a bunch of summit stuff.
Yay! So that handout for Wendy, most of you got it, the 19-point. If you didn't get one, just grab it from someone and make a copy, okay? This has been up since, I guess, January, the LVR meetings. The one at the bottom is trends. It's next, Tuesday?
Yep.
At
11.
11. I would recommend you all go.
You have to go, and if you don't go early, you won't.
You have to register.
You're not gonna see it if you do not go early.
Right, you gotta register. It's gonna be on Zoom, but the Zoom calls on LVR, they're just horrible. I mean, it's not set up for that. Okay, I mean, you can listen, but you can't, it's not.
And Zoom doesn't count for being part of the
Correct.
committee, does it?
Correct.
You have to be in person.
Correct. I think after that, you can go to Zoom, but not the first one, okay? But Steve Hawks, Noah Herrera are gonna do, they call it the crystal ball. That's what they call it. They do it every year, sort of, kind of. So they're going to talk about predictions and all that kind of stuff. But get there early. You have to register. You got the email, okay? In your email, if you can't find it, Google LVR, however you search LVR emails, and you need to register, okay? The other big one is the general membership meeting. The general membership meeting, we don't have a handout because they just announced it yesterday, is March 15th. And again, you all got the email that you didn't open yet. Okay, open it, register, it costs you $35. You get the $35 back. Okay, you get a credit back. You meet all the vendors, you have a really great lunch, and if you want to take a CE class, that's part of it too. So you can spend a majority of the day at the event. And this year it's going to be at the new Durango Casino.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over there for these. So there'll be 3 or 4 of these throughout the year. But you have to register, okay? 3. There's 3?
23 this
Okay, and this is March 15th. Usually on March 14th, I get 8 or 9 phone calls from all the 4 offices. Hey, Tim, hey, I just got over COVID, or I broke my leg. Can you get me into the general membership meeting? No, I can't. Even if I could, I wouldn't. Because you should have registered. What's fair is fair, okay? So register. I promise you'll like it. Lots of fun. I don't know, has anyone been to Durango? Is it nice?
Yeah.
Is it really pretty? Yeah? Okay. The food's good?
Really tiny, but it's really pretty, and the restaurants are really cool.
And there's no bowling alley, no movie theater, no Kids Quest, none of that stuff, no? Okay, all right. And the other handout is this. You may have this already, but this has to do with the lawsuits, okay? So you might want to read this. And it gives you answers to some questions you might be getting from the consumer, okay? I'm going to talk about the lawsuit in a little bit. Not a whole lot of new stuff, but when we least expect it, a lot of crap could hit the fan, okay? But I'll tell you what I know up to this point. Who do we have here before we get? Oh, come on. I don't know where your slide is. I moved it, but Maria, come on down. Here she is, gang. She's not feeling well today. Gang. I got a bad shoulder. Suzanne's got a bad back. Wendy's, I don't know what you got bad. You got a bad head. We're falling apart here, you know?
I don't know how many of you guys have seen this or not, but anyways, I thought it was kind of cool. I just had to cram my 36-hour CE classes. Yay, aren't we all happy?
Because Maria plans ahead like we all do, right?
Yeah,
You know?
at the last minute. But I always, in
classes, and all I wanna do is come out with one thing that's new, that I didn't know. This is something that is new to me. I didn't know that these were happening. It's Nevada Legal Minutes. They're on YouTube. You just Google it, on Nevada Legal Minutes. And they're literally a minute of information from Tiffany Banks, general counselor. So she's obviously knows what she's doing.
She's now also CEO of the state.
Yeah,
Okay.
Christine is, I think, the
New legal.
one.
Yeah.
But I wanted to share this with you because I'm seeing, a lot of, you guys are writing down a lot of stuff that says as is for the properties. This is pretty interesting.
What does it mean when a property is being sold as is? Does that mean that the buyer takes the property as it is with any defects it may have? What does that mean for the seller? Does the seller say once the property is transferred, they are free of any risks and liabilities because I sold it this way? I'm Tiffany Banks, General Counsel for the Nevada Realtors, and I'm here to discuss what this means for you and your client. So, what does as is mean? The simplest way to explain this is that by selling the property as is, the seller is saying they won't make any repairs. It is that simple. They still have to disclose all known material facts and defects relating to the property. Does a buyer still have the right to inspect the property? Absolutely. Just because a property is being sold as is does not mean that a buyer can't or shouldn't inspect a property. An as-is clause provides even more reason for thorough inspection. When representing a buyer in an as-is transaction, be sure that the buyer takes adequate time to do due diligence and necessary inspections so they have an idea of the actual property condition. Unless the contract specifically says otherwise, the buyer is entitled to cancel the contract based on items discovered during the inspection. So, is the seller still required to disclose known defects? Yes. Just because a property is being sold as is, the seller must still make disclosures they normally would on property defects they know about. Every sale of a residence must include the seller's real property disclosure form, otherwise known as the SRPD, in accordance with NRS 113.130. There are very few exceptions, and the inclusion of an as-is clause is not an exception.
Bam.
So like I said, they're just
Thinking
really.
about going solar.
No, we're not. We're not thinking.
Whether it's worth it for your home. Well,
Okay, I got this. You chat away. No, they don't want to see you. They don't want to see me.
So anyways, I just thought that I'd share those with you. I think I'm gonna try to pull one of those up like every couple, sessions. They have a really good one on clauses, added clauses that we add, to our contract, such as, a buyer will pay $10,000 over appraised value. That's a heated discussion with them, as to how we're supposed to do it. So anyways, just look at those. They answer a lot of questions. I mean, some of the stuff that's on there is very simple. They even talk about just the duties owed and when are you supposed to get that signed and how many people are supposed to sign that. It's pretty interesting.
When do you get that signed again?
ASAP.
When you already are showing the home, you should be able to have that.
Say it again.
The moment you already have that, showing homes to the client, you gotta have that before.
So can I write up the RPA, then the duties owed?
You gotta have the duties owed first.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Just making sure.
Good. So, anyways, that's it for now. Any other questions? Just let me
Yay! All right, gang. But if you go to Google or YouTube, Google Tiffany Banks or Nevada Realtors. She has, I don't think there's 100 videos, but she probably has 50 or 75 one-minute snippets about stuff that you should watch. Okay. Me and Wendy might start doing something like that, like a little 90-second weekly talk about the SRPD, talk about due diligence, whatever it might be, just to help everybody. All right, gang. Let's talk about the lawsuits. Anybody have any questions about the lawsuits? No? We're good? Okay. Meeting's over. No. This was in the paper the other day. Nevada real estate agents conspired to inflate broker fees.
How do they have the conspired from?
You know,
People got together and discussed commission.
all 16,000 of us. So if you ever go to an LVR class or a CE class or a class at, Coldwell Banker, if we all get those free classes at other brokerages, you might want to go. You'll see some of us talk about bananas or tomatoes. We don't talk about percent because we're not allowed to if there's another brokerage firm in the room. Because that could mean that me and Coldwell Banker, if we mention 6%, that's what we charge. And that's how we can get in trouble. So when you hear people say, oh, I charge 3 bananas and I give the other half 2.5 bananas. You know, exactly. You know what the bananas mean. But there's a lawsuit by this guy, I don't know, Nate somebody. It was and if you notice it says Nevada real estate agents, not Las Vegas. It's the state. So he's suing not a brokerage firm, he's suing the Nevada Realtors Association and the Las Vegas Realtor Association. So it's not a brokerage firm. It's kind of odd. So we're curious how this is going to work out. But go to the RJ. Again, I know you guys don't like reading newspapers, but go to reviewjournal.com, click on the business tab, click business, you click housing, and every day there's something on here that you need to know. Okay? You need to know that home listings in Southern Nevada have skyrocketed this year. Did you know that? Yes. But sometimes these stories aren't really true. It's this reporter's vision of it, or somebody told him a story, 7,000 a month rental home hits the market. I'd like to know what that house was. Who's going to get $7K a month for their house? This article will tell you. So some really good stuff in here is my point, okay? Reviewjournal.com, lvrj.com, click business, click housing, and you'll be on top of all this stuff here, All right, so let me show you this video. This is a video by someone I like a lot, Tom Ferry. We all know Tom, right? I love him. I've been coached by his company. This guy, Alan Dalton, been in the business forever, is currently the president of Berkshire Hathaway and the CEO of one of their offshoots. And he did this video maybe, I don't know, 2019? Okay. And Tom was just talking about the business. And he was talking about, getting a listing and charging as many bananas as you can get. And this guy, Alan Dalton, shared his technique that he shares with his Berkshire Hathaway agents, supposedly. So let's see what Alan says here. Right, let me go back to the beginning. You don't want to miss this. All right, come on, Alan. Spit it out. Did I mess it up? Oh, shit. Did I? All right, guys. I went to the... mother of God. All right, Suze, help me. Can I just backtrack it? Can I backtrack it? All right. There we go. All right, Alan. Shh. Not yet, Alan. We're not ready for you, Alan. Hang in there. Okay. All right. Let's make it bigger. I'm coming, baby. Just give me a sec.
Most effective commission cutting objection handling tech.
According to Alan, this is the best commission
Your audience.
objection handling.
Effective commission cutting objection handling technique in the history.
Waits for the end to give us the most
Because we all have
effective
to be-
commission cutting.
We have to be concerned about compression of fees, okay?
1,000%. Give it to
Okay,
us.
now, I have to be very careful because as CEO of Real Living and Senior Vice President of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, I have a sacred responsibility to represent the brands in the most professional
This
manner
is
possible.
a legal disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen.
But I'm going to, I've said this at our events, but I asked the audience, first of all, the technique is profanity laced, but I'm not gonna use any of the swear words because I'm not gonna end my career today. So I'm gonna give the technique that this top producer and one of the top producers in the country, makes about $2 million a year, has been using for 40 years, but I'm gonna bleep out the profanity. But this is the only technique that I know works every time. And so she was in my office, I was president of the company, and she says, Alan, this person wants me to throw in $10,000 at the closing. Can I use your office? Now, in the history of my company, this is a fact, I never said a curse word. We didn't have that culture. When I played ball, I would, but never professionally or in my home.
Yeah, when you think.
But here's a technique. I'm going to turn to your audience. I'm going to give you a technique. You might want to write this down if you have your iPhone.
No, don't write it down.
There's no bleeping way I'm going to cut my bleeping commission. What do you think? I'm a bleeping hooker standing outside the Lincoln Tunnel at 3 o'clock in the morning giving bleepings to sailors. If you think I'm going to cut my bleeping commission, you can take this home and shove it up your bleeping, and I know that it will fit, right? Did everyone get that? Now, after she finished, I went into the office, and I'll change her name to Susan.
Yes.
I said, Susan, E&O's not gonna cover this.
No.
I'll never forget what she said. But do you think
I'm
he's
not
gonna-
recommending
Yeah,
this script in case you're
but-
wondering.
Exactly, but here's what she said. But do you think he's gonna bring it up again, okay?
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is this, the most successful people I've ever known in real estate,
Yep.
they're either unbelievably nasty
Yeah.
or they're unbelievably nice.
Well, needless to say, when we had the lawsuit going on, the plaintiff's attorneys, they found this video. And I'm not saying that's why we lost the lawsuit, but I don't think this helped us out too much. I think you guys would agree on that, right? I mean, Alan's a good guy, and he's good at what he does, I guess, but he messed this one up, big time, I think. And that was one of the factors they said why we lost the lawsuit, because, again, he thinks this is how we all think, that we all think our clients are outside the Lincoln Tunnel at 3 in the morning. And I know the Lincoln Tunnel. I lived in New York, New Jersey. I've been through there, maybe not 3 in the morning, but it's not a nice place, to go. So that was Alan's take on that, and it wasn't a good one, as we all can see, okay? As far as the lawsuits go, what did I do with my thing? Here it is. There's 20 lawsuits out there now, just so you know. It's 20 of them. Nationwide. 17 of them are brought on by attorneys representing sellers. That's like the one we lost. Sellers, okay? 2 are brought on by buyers. 2 buyers found a lawyer, and they're suing us too. I don't know what that's all about. And there's a long-standing Department of Justice and NAR lawsuit that's been going on for when I was on the board, they were in it. So that's, who knows when that'll ever end, okay? Realty One is named in one lawsuit. Does anyone know what state that's in? Arizona. Very good, yes. So there's a class action lawsuit in Arizona, and they dragged us into that one. That's the only one that we're in, okay? Nothing in Nevada, but it's coming. I mean, it's going to come. It's going to come. It really is. I mean, it's just a matter of time. And I think I think if I was a consumer now and I was going to hire Glenn Lerner to sue everybody, usually we want to make money, right? With a car accident, you make 20 grand or 50 grand or something. These plaintiffs made, what did we say the math was? $2,600 from the 1.7 billion. Each plaintiff made $2,600. Now, if they knew that going in, I wonder if they would have done it.
That's the end result. They probably thought they were going to get
Of course.
filthy rich.
Of course. But if you start doing the math, and because there was 500,000 plaintiffs in the lawsuit, so just do the math, So that's why the attorney, it's unfortunate, and there's a lot of good podcasts out there. Maybe I'll put them on the Facebook page you might want to go to. But there's this one guy called Daryl Davis, longtime trainer, been around forever, like a Tom Ferry. And he wants to try to get a class action lawsuit, and he's serious, against lawyers. Like, how come their fee is always 1/3? They must be conspiring throughout the country. Right? I mean, I'm no lawyer, but that seems more credible to me than 1.5 million agents figuring out we're all going to charge 6 bananas. So that would be kind of cool if it ever came to fruition, I guess, Questions about the lawsuits? Have you heard about it? I mean, I heard about it. Has clients asked you about it? I mean, I'm wondering.
How many lawsuits are there?
20. 20.
Tim, I thought that KW settled, I heard.
Ah, very good. KW settled for 70 million? 70, I think, right? 70 million. $70 million, okay? Each plaintiff got $1.42 of that, I'm sure they didn't get anything of it, okay? So they settled, Remax settled, Rheology, Coldwell Banker, they settled, Century 21, all the Anywhere Rheology brands settled. So I think Berkshire Hathaway's still out there. We're not in it yet. Douglas Elliman got sued. Sotheby's got sued. I'm trying to think of the other big ones. Berkshire Hathaway is the other big one. They're the biggest one left.
They're the biggest one.
And someone told me they're going to fight it to the Supreme Court if they have to, because they got very deep pockets. Yep.
Tim, question for you. Why would they settle and lay out that money? Isn't it cheaper to just keep on appealing it? I mean, you're admitting guilt, and doesn't that open the door for other lawsuits
Well,
and more?
Well, again, I mean, I'm not an attorney here, but I watched enough Law and Order that you could settle a case, but I didn't do anything wrong. I gave you $50 million, Paul, but I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't admit anything. So you can't come back to me in the future for the same thing because I admit no wrongdoing. But if you let me do that, Paul, I'll give you $50 million. Okay, we'll take your money.
Go forward with life.
Yeah, life goes on.
I read somewhere with Keller Williams that they just didn't want it to disrupt their business anymore, you know, and they just wanted it to just go away so that they could get back to business.
Selling homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting the bananas.
That's it. We want the bananas here, you know. But no realtors have been sued. The next thing that might happen is obviously the pecking order is the big brokerage firms. You know, if I'm a lawyer, I'm going after the big guys. And then there's really no realtors. I mean, there are some realtors that millions and millions of dollars, but the next rumor might be is going after the big teams. Damon and the team in Green Valley and the Jillian Batchelor team that do 300 deals a year. That's like a brokerage firm when you think about it. So they have a bullseye on them a little bit too. Okay, and like he said, E&O doesn't cover this. We have to write out a check ourselves. So it's a lot of money. And I guess 70 million, Paul, was the lesser of two evils in their opinion. Because if they lost, it could be hundreds of millions of dollars, you know. And I don't know the cutoff date. I think it's soon that NAR has to either apply for the appeal or cut a deal. But I think to appeal it, they have to put up the amount of money that they lost, like 1.7 billion in the bank, you know, to guarantee the plaintiffs that money if something goes wrong. And I think that's an issue. I don't know if NAR has that money to do that. They talked about moving forward. Let's say it's January 2025. Every closing by every realtor, $50 gets taken out of your check to go towards this little fund to pay off the lawsuits. I've heard that rumored around. I've heard $200 a deal coming out of everyone's closings to pay for this thing, which I think is ridiculous. You guys shouldn't have to pay anything, but it might happen. It might happen. Okay, and you'll hear other states where they say, "Well, I work for Remax. I'm not part of my MLS." You don't have to be. You guys don't have to be. But what if you weren't a member of MLS? What would that mean to you?
Can't put listings.
Can't do anything. You're going to be a poor realtor. You know, not going to make any money. You know.
So what if it's a referral agent? That person also will be sued? $50 off that commission of.
These are just rumors, gossip.
Yeah.
You know, I was on a Brian Buffini podcast. He brought this up. You know, I heard it on another podcast. Who knows? They're just thinking of ways to try to get this money so we can go, like somebody said, go on with business. Life goes on here. You know.
So, do you guys know the guy that started the agency? He actually. They have started an MLS version.
Right.
And I guess NAR was like, bring it.
Bring it.
The competition.
Yeah.
It's healthy.
Yeah, it's Omansky. I forgot his first name. Good-looking guy. Yeah, right. Him and a few other people are creating the American Real Estate. It's AREA, A-R-E-A, American Real Estate Association, like Nevada Realtors or NAR, the National Association. He wants to have the American Association of Realtors. So he's trying to start up another version of NAR. Good luck. If he can do the same thing for cheaper, I'll buy his product. I don't care, right? But I don't think it's ever going to fly. I mean, it's just too much involved in that for just two brokerage presidents to say, "Oh, let's do this." You know, there's a lot more to it but it sounds good. You know, it might get NAR acting the way we want them to act. Not that they're acting in a bad way, okay? But we need them, whether we like it or not. Like I said, we pay dues, and we need MLS. We need their forms. We need all that kind of good stuff, okay? But the one thing I did get out of some of the stuff at the summit and some of these podcasts is when you guys get a listing or you have a listing client and you're going to go meet them tomorrow at 2, how much preparation do you do before you go there tomorrow at 2? An hour? 10 hours? If it's not until next Saturday, do you spend 25 hours? No, think about it. Yeah, you're going to put in the time. You have to do the same thing for a buyer. You're going to have to. Or else they're not going to sign a buyer broker agreement. Or they're going to meet someone somewhere else who's going to impress the shit out of them and going to sign their buyer broker agreement. Okay? It's like, I think you said it, the value that you're going to show. We have a new agent here, James. Got his first listing. Yay, James, say hi. It was a mad rush to get the listing, but it's a relative. And he made it clear to me and Wendy, Tim, I told him the fee would be like, 1%. It's his relative, it's a cousin, we're gonna give him a discount. Make a long story short, Wendy went there, get to her little flip chart, walked away with 6%. 6 bananas, sorry, okay? Where we were gonna do 1, because it's a friend, a family's, cousin's, brother's, niece, I don't know, okay? It is, but if you go in there and just lay down and say, oh, sure, Joe, I'll take it at 4%, then go back to dealing cards, please. Go back to the Gold Coast and be a roulette dealer. You'll be quiet, safer, less aggravation in your life. You'll make 65 grand and maybe live a great life here. But if you want to make $200,000, you got to know how to do this shit, okay? It's no longer just walking in and, you meet the guy at the property because he called you off the Zillow thing and hope he's going to be with you tomorrow. And when you call him, crickets. It's gone. It was a one-shot deal. Now, maybe he was just one of those guys or she was one of those clients that want to do that. They just call up listing agents or whatever and go see properties. We don't know. But you really have to have a buyer's consultation. Okay, now me and Wendy have been working on it. We're doing classes on it. Don't depend on us. Google, YouTube, real estate buyer's consultation. And I bet you'll see some big shot from Remax or Coldwell Banker doing one. You know how many of them I watched over the years when I was at Remax, because Remax had no training? I said all these videos from KW, from Sotheby's, from Douglas Elliman, people I didn't even know. And there's some cool trainers out there that are kind of cheap too, that you might want to spend $200 a month to month, to learn some of the stuff they teach you. Haya?
Well, I'm still very surprised that a lot of people don't use the buyer brokerage agreement. Since I started real estate, I've always used it. My first broker was actually from Prudential, and he said you never walk away without a buyer brokerage agreement. And I always do it. None of my agents doesn't go without signing it, and they all have the broker fee there. But we do a whole presentation. We have to do a whole presentation. When they said we're just going to need them to show a house, I said you can't do that. We need to do a presentation. You need to have that signed, because when you don't do it, then they go somewhere else and you don't get your money. And then it's full disclosure. We're not working for free. We are getting our money. We have a broker fee. This is how much it's going to cost you. This is our fee, and and I don't say my commission. I say this is my fee, and I don't say this is my broker's commission. This is my fee. I charge you this much. This is what we're gonna do, and this is what you're gonna pay. And very rarely somebody says no. But I spend with them about an hour showing them what is that we're gonna do, what I'm gonna do for them as a buyer, and there's never a question they're gonna pay. They're like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. So
Yeah.
I think, if people don't do that, it's really hard to have them sign, oh yeah, here, sign this, you're gonna give me money, what are you gonna do for me? Oh, nothing, because people have the perception that we don't do anything, and they don't realize that there's a list about this long of stuff that we do. So if people are not using that buyer brokerage agreement and they don't have a buyer presentation, I think they're losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
Aren't you trying to say, I'm charging them, aren't you trying not to say that?
Yeah, but Haya's right. Try not to use the word commission. Try not to use the word charge. I think we should be attorneys. What does an attorney get from us? What do they call it?
A fee.
Oh, contingency fee. We should call ours a contingency fee. I don't make any money, Joe, until I sell your house. I'm going to do all these things, and this is why I earn 3 bananas. Okay, but if I don't tell them about all these things I'm going to do, most consumers think as buyer's agents, what is it we do for them? What do they typically think? Yeah, we open the door. That's all they think. Oh, you got the key. You can get me in the house. Shit, I got to call you up. Yeah, that's what they think. I remember in 2008, my first 2 years, I didn't do great, but I had 7 or 8 deals each year, maybe, a little bit over $100,000. And my girlfriend at the time said, shit, you made $8,700? You were with that person for like an hour. And literally, that's what it was. It was a referral from a buyer. I went to show him a house, made him an offer, and it went through. Literally, I worked for an hour, and I made $8,700. She goes, this is bullshit. She goes, no, she was serious. She goes, this doesn't seem right, Tim. How could you make so much money for 60 minutes of your time? And then I went through this whole thing, what happens after we make the offer, to make sure the offer gets accepted. She goes, okay, but still not $8,700. That's still too much, But that's how the consumer thinks. And I don't blame them when you think about it, because we don't tell them what we do. We keep our mouth shut, okay? So as much as you need a listing presentation, you need a buyer's consultation, okay? Or else they're not gonna sign it. And I'm in the same boat you guys are in. I never used a buyer broker agreement in my life. I think I told you guys. RE/MAX didn't believe in it. The theory was, Tim, if Sveta doesn't like you, don't work with her. Let her walk away. And I said, yeah, okay, that makes sense. If Paul doesn't like me and I don't like Paul, I'll go find someone else, okay? But if Paul signed a buyer broker agreement and walked into Toll Brothers, I would have made $8,700, okay? So, but they just didn't believe in it. That was their thing, the franchise owners at the time. Now, 20 years later or 15 years later, we have to use it. Now, Wendy, she's been using her whole career. Who knew? Jesus, okay? So you need to know the BBA, you need to practice the buyer's consultation. We even have one, I think, in PowerPoint, that if I was a full-time agent and I had a client in another state that's coming in to see me this weekend, I would send them these 10 or 12 slides in our buyer's presentation that they could watch. That sells Realty One and sells me. I got him on the phone and we seem nice. Who knows when he hangs up, he's back on Zillow calling, Ricky from RE/MAX about Ricky's house. It happens all the time. But if I send them my 9-slide PowerPoint, hey Heather, it's great talking to you. Looking forward to meeting you and your family on Saturday. Here's a quick little PowerPoint. It's only about a minute long that entails a lot of things that we discussed on the phone. So when we meet Saturday, everything's going to go smoothly. And he hits it, and it's 9 slides that make you look fantastic. If you don't have that, get with us. We'll send it to you, and then you brand it to yourself. Okay, so we're not going to make it for you guys. We're not paying you a salary, or you're not paying us a salary. So we're going to send it to you, but you got to put your photo in there. You got to put in certain words that pertain to you. But once you have it once, you have it for your whole career. And I'd send it to every buyer, even if I met them in the office. If it was my cousin, I'd send it to him. Okay, to show the value that you're going to bring. Somebody? Nobody?
No, well, Wendy, I was
Carrie,
wondering,
sorry.
Yes, did you ever have to use that buyer brokerage agreement against somebody that went to someone else, or did they just stay with her? You never had to go after anything?
No, because you continue to show your value. And then, the way I do with my buyers is I up front tell them, okay, this is how new homes work, this is how an open house works, take my cards, if you go in and say, I have a realtor, this is my realtor, can I view the home, I know it's an open house, I'm going to drive by it. If you prep them and they go in and I say, and that realtor says, no, you can't, if your realtor's not here, why would you want to even see that? Just call me, I will come back, I will bring you there when that person's not there. If you go through those steps with them, you don't have to wonder if they're gonna stay with you. You've already trained them you've got to train them how to be a buyer. They don't know, they're like, I just want to look at a house and I wonder what I can offer. No, okay, but this is what I'm going to do and this is what you need to do. So it's
We just can't assume.
Correct.
I got a question.
Go ahead, Webb. What do you got?
Well, on the buy, if I go get a listing contract, I can get fired. On the buyer's broker agreement, do they have a way out? Do they have an exit strategy if I happen to be an asshole and they don't like me?
So I'm your buyer.
Right.
Somebody ring in here?
That's me. It's my end.
Oh, good job. So we have a 6-month agreement. After 3 months, I ghost you.
Right.
I never call you back. So you're going to keep coming after. You're going to keep calling me, but I'm ignoring you because I've moved on.
Right. In my eyes, you're gone or
Right.
whatever. However, I guess to her question right here, where she just went, does that mean, oh shit, on month 5 they bought a damn house and my agreement's another month long? They still owe me the money.
They do.
Yes, they do.
They owe you the money.
So my question is, do they have an exit strategy
No.
other than ghost?
No. You're entitled to their money. Okay.
No, but they can send you a request to, they can fire you. What I always tell them, I said, what is it? And I have a buyer brokerage agreement for a year because I don't know what their credit is, I don't know what their market, I don't know what they're doing. And then I just tell them, I said, you know what, I said, we're gonna work together, you're interviewing me, I'm interviewing you, we agreed, we like each other, we're signing for a year, but you can get out of it anytime you want with a written request unless we are in escrow. If we are in escrow, we cannot terminate this contract. But I said, but if you don't like me, or if I don't like you, we can terminate this contract in writing, no hard feelings.
That's my question.
Yeah.
What I suggest is, if they ghost you and you're still gonna go, I wanna collect that commission, you have to constantly show that you didn't break that chain. They might have broke it, but you tried, because they buy a house, and you're like, nope, you still owe me, and they're like, you're gonna have to sue me, and you start something, you're gonna go into court and say, yeah, I showed them for that first month, and then they stopped, they stopped, responding to me, so I just sat there. It shows you didn't even try the rest of the 4 months that it took. So just be in contact, send them drips, keep them on, if they're on the automatic
Well, no.
email, and
Yeah.
show that I'm still trying, they're just not responding. So that's
I don't
where
want
it's
their
a-
money if they're that way. I'm that kind of dude. But I just want to know, can they get out? Yes or no? That was a simple.
It's just like a listing agreement. If I take your listing for 6 months,
Yes.
like Haya said, we all use different words. You know what, Sean? But after a month, if you don't think I'm doing a good job, and for some reason we're not getting along, or I suggest a price drop and you don't want to do that, we both can terminate this with written notice. So everyone's off the hook. Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
But
Exactly.
it's a listing agent, I think we should put in the words in the agreement when you get listing. If you I do my job, but you change your mind because, you change your mind, all the marketing fee, photo fee list, right? Maybe such fee, I'm gonna charge you. I'm start doing that, I already started. Because a lot of owner, especially for sale by owner, yeah. They're cheap ass.
Now,
they
from-
don't pay, so.
To defend Masako,
Shoot.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. But if a seller calls me, hey Tim, this is Mike, I had a listing with Masako and I don't want to list with her anymore, and I'm not paying her the $4.95 for photos. Just wanted to let you know. Okay, Mike, have a good day. I'm done. We're not going to help you get that money. You want to go to court and sue him for $500? You can. That has nothing to do with Realty One Group. Okay. In my opinion, that's just the cost of doing business. That you pay for these photos, you pay for things. If the shit goes sideways, you're out the money. That's how it goes. That's how I always look at it. Okay. But everyone is different. You handle the business you want, but Realty was not going to help you. I just had a call from one of our agents. Hey Tim, my buyer promised me they would give me X amount of dollars after closing, and they didn't give me the money. So what do you want me to do? I want you to help me get it from my buyer. I said, you out of your mind? No, what am I, a collection agency? No. If you made some sort of side hustle with the guy, I don't even want to know about it. Call Wendy, okay? Leave me out of this stuff here, So, yeah. It is. So, but whenever you get into those kind of pickles, if you do, really, call me or Wendy. We want to know it beforehand, not after the deal closes. After it closes, you're done. We can't fix anything, okay? We can't go back and unwind the deal. But before it closes, there's a whole lot we could do.
Hey, Tim, I think on the buyer brokerage agreement too, and correct me if I'm wrong, it says in there that you have to go to mediation first.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? It's still the same.
Right,
Because
but-
I had one that way, and our broker that used to be here told me that because, of course, I worked with her for months and months, last minute on Christmas Eve has to see this condo. Well, we were looking at single families. Why do you need to see the condo on Christmas Eve? And I've already told this story, so I won't go back through the whole entire mess, but ultimately, she called the listing agent on Christmas Eve. He showed her the property. He didn't ask if she was working with an agent, or maybe he did and she said no. I don't know. Either way, I called her on the 26th and said, hey, let's get over there, look at the condo. Oh, we're all set. It's already been accepted. I said, how could that be? I haven't written you anything. She said, oh, well, I called the listing agent and he wrote the offer for me because you weren't available. But the one time I've ever used a buyer broker agreement in 20 years, the only time I ever used one. So I came to the broker, he said, oh, you have to take her to court.
Mm-hmm.
So my next step, I called and set up a small claims case.
Yep.
I set it up, we went to court, I had all my paperwork, everything was in order. Gave all the paperwork to the judge, he looked at it, and he says, you have an amazing case, you're very organized, had you gone to mediation, you would have won this case.
Right. Yeah.
But I didn't go to mediation first, so.
Correct. And just to add to Patrick's, even if I'm the buyer and I signed that said I would go to mediation, you tell me about mediation, I'm not going. Probably, if I'm the buyer, I'm not going to show up. But at least you tried,
Right.
and that's going to win your case. Correct.
Pay the $500,
Yeah, it's like Wendy said. Wendy said,
then you can go to court.
if you have a buyer and they're ghosting you after you've shown them 40 homes, and you still think they're out there looking, because they probably are, they just don't want to deal with you anymore, for whatever reason,